high def microphone.
Hello, Jim. Let's go.
All right, so we do already have students absent. People that missed class this morning for appointments, people that are missing class this afternoon for appointments, or they're sick, or who knows what. Actually, some people are taking fall vacations. It's like, whatever. Yeah, I know. Lucky them, right? So, take a moment with your teammates, look at this pattern, and then, of course, we will use random cards to get some help from you guys for what is that pattern, what would figure 1 and figure 5 look like. I mean, if you want to draw it out, sure, you can draw it out on graph paper. So this is the class not with Lee, right? Not with Lee. We do have Soph in this class. Lucy.
After I said it's not difficult, I corrected myself.
Okay. We'll let it slide. Then we won't call your parents this time.
Okay, thanks. Lucy, I'm not going to say the easy ones next time. It's simple.
I still do not like the word. Now, I can't outlaw that word because, like, in math, we use the word simplify and, like, make this equation simpler. And, like, so I'm not going to say that's a bad word, but, I mean, it's any word where you're essentially telling somebody, I can do this very quickly, would make them not feel great, right? So just keep that in mind. So, all right. We accidentally used the bad word over here. But Lucy, I'm going to go ahead and make that, like, call on you then. Why did you accidentally use the E word for this? What are you, like, what did you recognize quickly?
Because I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, say more.
What it was, and then, like, I was like, oh, wow, I thought that was going to be a lot harder.
All right, so keep saying more.
I realized that you just have to add, like, an L shape, like, 3 blocks and then a block on the right, and then it just every single figure just adds more of that. Yeah.
Who spotted that? Actually, I shouldn't have shaded that guy because that's our first figure. Who spotted that L is just the only new crap. I forgot. I got a quick eraser. And then we just stack another L. So kind of like our Tetris thinking that we were talking about yesterday, right? Of like recognize the shapes made up of the squares and how that kind of changes. So, all right, then figure 1. Now I'll move on from Lucy. Caden's absent, right? Or did Caden show up? Okay, so like, yeah, that's why I'm recording the video, right? So Caden, we miss you. Come back soon. Liam, what would figure 1 look like? How would I get back to it?
So it would be those 3 blocks on the left and then just 1 L on the right of
Oh,
it.
so you're still like recognizing the L as part of this. So this, it needs to disappear.
Yeah.
And what we still have, Liam said, is these 3, and then this L. But that's figure 1, so if we went back to figure 0,
The L wouldn't be there.
that L wouldn't be there, and we would just have those 3 blocks. Any questions on that one? Liam?
What about figure negative 1?
What do you think? Could we, like, can this pattern continue that direction?
Yeah, you flip the
that's
L
all.
over. Yeah, just like flip the L over on the other side.
And then we're going to have missing squares?
No, it just means it'll be backwards.
Just have outline.
Dark matter square.
Dark matter.
Yes.
Okay, and then figure 5, Isaac, I'm thinking we probably know what figure 5 would look like. Whoa, figure 5.
More
It's just one more L on top.
More.
One more L stacked on top, right? So we could keep doing this. So really, if figure 1 had 1 L, figure 2 had 2 of the L's, if we got asked that CPM question of what would figure 100 look like? 100 L's, right? If you are off task right now, it's obvious. Put it away. Please don't make me do it. That's more embarrassing. But we are about to move on, so you can't be off task because you're going to need all of your focus. We will, because this is due tomorrow, we will go over the answer key and like double check your answers for this tomorrow. But I want to make sure we get to everything for today. So I'm going to go ahead and skip past homework check. But normally, we would check homework right now and then turn it in, right? Kind of like what we did with 111. But normally we would check homework and then turn it in. So who knows who Newton is? So today's lesson is all about Newton. Actually, so we all have graph paper out, right? Noah, who is Newton?
The guy who invented gravity.
I thought he invented the fig little candy things, the cookies that my parents buy. That
He discovered gravity.
He
discovered
just
gravity.
figured out this game like
How do you invent a worldly?
So Newton did not invent gravity, right? But he did. He did sorry, something in my throat. He did, like, formalize this idea of gravity and forces. Anyone know what Newton is really like? Newton's famous for his Newton's. Well, there's not just one. There are three main laws of like forces, right? Not just gravity, but of forces. So Newton is often talked about when we talk about roller coasters. So,
That's Steel Vengeance. Oh, why didn't you guys go on the Steel Vengeance?
What coaster class? By the way, that song was I believe it was Woody. That is Tunnel and These are top 5 roller coasters that have tunnel. I love roller coasters.
name on the paper, please. As soon as you get a paper, name should go on it.
This music.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. You were right. If I'm passing out papers and you already got it early, please let me know. So Sam, get it out then. That's why I didn't remember you had it. So you don't need to I mean, make sure that you're able to see from over here. I kind of shifted stuff for today, so just, if this is a bad spot, let me know.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Roller
Open my
coasters are
hand.
fun.
This music is incredible, guys.
This is not a DJ Hudcat production. This is whoever made this video. Oh, I don't know. Alright, so the new roller coaster, Newton's Revenge, has been getting talked about a little bit, and people are a little sus. We're a little concerned that it might chop your hands off. So what we have encountered is this tunnel that is 200 centimeters tall from the floor of the car, right? So not from the track, but from the floor of the car, we have 200 centimeters of space to the top of the tunnel. Who's ever ridden the Magnum XL 2000 at Cedar Point where you're doing all the crazy, and then you get to the tunnel part and there's a drop in the tunnel, and when I was a kid, I was always you got your hands up, but then when you get to the tunnel, you're kind of
Oh, yes,
I trust that somebody designed this, but I don't know how much I trust them. Right? If I keep my hands all the way up and they made a mistake and I lose my hands, I'm gonna be a sad person, right?
Yeah.
So we want to before we go visit Newton's Revenge, we're not going to visit a roller coaster. Before we go visit Newton's Revenge, we want to make sure that none of us are going to have our hands chopped off because they're kind of important. So what we're going to do is do some data collection. What you have on your paper is everything you need for you and your team. So this is a team event, right? If you're not with a team, you're going to need to get with a team because it is impossible for you to do this yourself. Impossible. So you and your team are going to collect data on every person of your team. So if your team is 3, obviously you'll do this 3 times. If your team is just 2, you'll do it 2. But then you'll probably start to grab some data from other people or look at things. What we're going to do is compare the vertical height the vertical height from your foot to your head, standing. No hands involved, no any, like vertical height.
That's easy. It's one Noah.
Then you'd have to find a conversion factor for your reach. Then using our standard roller coaster chairs, right? Our roller coaster chairs,
Okay.
what is your reach? Which is impossible to measure by yourself. So you will sit down and from the floor up to the tip of your fingers, that is what you're measuring for reach. Now, what are the labels of your columns? Centimeters, which most of us aren't used to measuring in. However, these have both units on them. So these have your metric on the one side. You want to make sure that you're looking at metric. Your data should fall somewhere. I think I skipped the page. Here's our graph. Your data should fall approximately in this range. If you get a height over 200, I'm suspicious you made a mistake because my height, actually I forget if I'm over 200, but like, yeah, you're not taller than me. Your reach should probably be not as tall as you because you sat down, right? I can't guarantee we won't go over 140, but we can extend the graph if we need to. Guys, put your hands in. When your hand is up, you're not listening. I hate having to say that. When a teacher keeps talking, we see your hand. We'll take questions in a minute. We just need to deliver instructions because we'll probably answer your question, hopefully. Because we sort of know we're just hang on for just a second. Because then we get distracted. That's the other thing. So, you are going to fill in this table on your paper, right? So when I check your homework, I'm going to be looking for work to be there from the examples from class section. You are then going to come up here to the board and pick a color, right? There's a lot. And put a dot where you should be. Now, if you accidentally touch too much of the, we can erase. We got to click the eraser up here because my board I have set up different than other people's boards. But so say my dot needs to be at 200 and 140 because I'm tall and I have a long reach, right? If my height is 200 and my reach is 140, we'd be about there. Now, I might add some lines to the graph to help you guys out. I'll throw some horizontal and vertical lines up here real quick so it's easier for us to see. But then each person adds a dot, right? It doesn't matter if they're the same color, but if you stack dots on top of each other, then it will. So if you can just pick a different color than what's in that area of the graph, that would be better. Now, questions on what we're about to do.
So what happens if you can't reach your reach?
What do you mean?
So
If your reach is higher than 140?
what happens if you're too short to reach the spot on the graph that is your reach?
So, I'm going to give the directions again because I think you glazed over a little bit. You're not trying to reach something. You are measuring what is the distance from the top of my...
He's saying
What
if you're not able to reach where your reach
right,
was?
so you can move the screen. Just move the screen. Yeah, you can move the screen. That's also why I'm going to add some horizontal and vertical lines to help you keep track of where you're at. Sorry, I totally misunderstood your question. But these boards aren't that tall. I think you should be able to reach most of the graph. Other questions? Sam?
Is the Hitman's Revenge a real roller coaster?
No.
Oh.
So,
I think I can figure out a way to solve this because the tallest man who ever lived was Robert Wadlow and was 8'11".
are we...
So
do
if
we
we can
think...
figure out
I
how
don't
tall
care about him.
I
I mean,
mean,
no offense to...
we can figure out how tall he was, and we can figure out if
You're
it's
right.
safe.
But Robert is not one of my students. I don't care if
But it's an
he's
easy way
not...
to figure out if the tunnel's safe.
Whoa!
It's a simple way to figure out if
Give
the
Soph
tunnel's
a shovel. She's digging her hole deeper.
safe.
Sometimes if you're digging a hole, you should just stop. So, I will bring around a measuring tape to each group. If you have any questions, ask me. Otherwise, I should see you up and around and measuring and doing things. And we might have to share measuring tapes because I just realized I only have 7. So really, if we can just merge into 7 groups, that would be better. If we can merge into 7 groups, that would be better. Sit down! Bringing them around.
Okay, guys. Yeah. This is the chair of roller
So like,
coaster.
yeah, there we go. Merged in there.
Roller coaster measuring game.
Here, I have a bias towards this side.
Actually, Val, can you merge in with another group? Because I don't have enough measuring tapes. And you can't measure yourself. So that's the tricky part.
Alright, you're first. Where's am I gonna measure you standing?
Listen up.
Could I please have Alex right to the office? Alexander, please come to the office. Thank you.
This is so confusing. Wait.
What about it? Oh, yes, sorry. That's I asked does everyone have a tape, but I don't think you guys heard. Like, there's just a lot going on automatically. Val, this is going to be one of those times where I've given directions about we're going to work together as a group. I need you to work together with a group. I guarantee your classmates are nice and they'll let you join their group. You just got to go kind of ask.
Is it from like the feet?
Yep, so every measurement's from the ground. Yep, every measurement's from the ground.
I measured it longer. It's really big.
Hey, Margo.
Alright.
I know this isn't just but holy, like you didn't print this out, did you? Oh, okay. I thought you just could Val do something else. I don't think so. Could Val do something? Guys, need somebody to do it, right?
Somebody else there trying to
So Val, Rick, there you go. You might need your worksheet.
Yeah.
We're measuring from my face. We're measuring from like the bottom. Well, no. Sure. Wait, Mr. Hudson's measuring from.
I mean, we're gonna have to extend that graph.
No, measuring from the bottom.
Yeah, that graph's not gonna be big enough. Alright, well, let's extend the graph. There you go.
Mr. Hudson.
Hey man, just numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie.
Mr. Hudson,
Yeah, we gotta sorry guys, we gotta extend the graph. Sorry. You guys are having reaches higher than I expected.
I'm having a
His
flare.
range is 156.
Really short.
I'm trust him. Oh.
Mr. Hudson,
Yo.
are you gonna measure from the ground?
Yeah, always from the ground.
Alright. Alright. Go measure me.
Not yet.
Wait.
Come on, I'll stand.
That's exactly what he's not giving her time to do this. Oh my god.
Alright, now no one move my chair.
So, I started to get suspicious that something didn't seem right because all of our data seemed too high. Reading the directions would potentially be important. Closest the ceiling of the tunnel ever comes to the seat. So we goofed up. It's not from the floor. My bad. Hey, guess what? I'm a human. There's actually a thing out in the hallway that says, guess what? Teachers aren't robots. So I'm a human. My bad. I teach 3 different math classes. If you measure from the floor, retake your measurement. Or measure how high the seat is and do subtraction.
No, I was going out direction is close. I reached from the bottom of the seat. There's 154 in my height.
Not from the bottom of
I
the
set
seat.
it back. I can so
From the
back.
floor, yeah, but it should just be from the seat. Because I goofed up.
No, not yet.
Wait, no, 114.
There we go. That seems more correct. Like the numbers I was expecting.
And then you're You said that.
What do you mean? Oh yeah. So then, if you have your data,
Okay, we needed to do it.
so put pen, put your color. What point are you putting in? 153, 110, 153 somewhere in here, like kind of in there. And then 40,
No, the whole entire
110 would be like up here. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it here. You don't even have to use the pen. That's a two. I know. Alright, and then, what's your other point?
How are you? You're lagging. You're lagging, bro. Sit down.
I'm guessing it right now.
After you measure, write down your data, and then place it up on the board, what could you do?
I was wondering.
You could work on your practice work. So if you're just like sword fighting with measuring tape or like doing something else off task, you could be getting a head start on your practice. Yeah, the rest of that is practice, but for 2 days of class. So hit the color thing. Color thing. So we can change color to whatever you want. Hit the color. And then it's up here, so what point are you trying to put on there? So if the paper touches the board, it'll draw. So 153 is probably about here. 120 is a little bit over. There you go. Sure, yeah. You want to change colors?
Thank you.
Yeah, every person. Yep, so we should have about 20 points up on this graph. Well, most of you are at similar heights. Oh, we're not going to be able to see that. Give it a little bit of tint. So what are you trying to put up? 159, so pretty much this line. And then 122, 23-ish, pretty much that line. Pretty much at the intersection, yeah. Yo, remember, everything under examples from class, until you reach the point that it says this is your practice, is classwork. If you flip the page, that's where your homework starts. Right? If you flip to the back, so if you're waiting for like your other groups to get their points up here, just chill, wait, work on practice.
Oh no, that's exactly
You can get that. I mean, or it's okay if we have 10 out of the same color. Did you notice that?
You measure me.
I'll measure you before it.
Back and back.
Yeah, but I'm so stupid.
There we go. Perfect.
Oh, and we got
I got you.
Oh god, did you go over that on this?
So these dots aren't true.
It worked the way it worked. It actually doesn't practice.
Yeah, for your
How do
height
I
measurement.
actually
But then the reach is from the seats. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I actually bet that you were saying something. How were you that? You're not even that. Reach your hands up. I'm sorry, guys. Look, I'm way taller.
Yeah, because you're going like this.
But that's not the reach. I mean, you are taller than him even just without reach. But like, yes, your height should be less than Soap's. No, I mean, I can double check it.
No, that's no.
The reach is how high you look. The reach is how high up your box is.
I know.
Isaac is 153
It
tall.
doesn't matter.
You didn't look that's what your data was.
Wait,
165.
Well, you can't even see my
Yeah,
color.
you put it a little high. You put it like 135. Something.
Wait, mine was 130.
So,
Most of this is just approximate.
no.
I'm gonna erase all that anyways. Let's just get our dots up there and.
Freak me out like that, Isaac.
Go back to mine.
He's on your spinning chair.
Bro, what's the? I gotta finish.
Let's work together. Oh, you just got recognized.
All right, are we struggling to measure?
They are.
Do we need some assistance? Because we don't want to move on until we have everyone.
132. You have to sit back.
It's 411, so I'm set.
Okay, so if your homework's not done, that would probably be a better idea since we're like in math class right now.
Yeah, but I really didn't finish this.
Yeah. Why do I think that's not 100% true?
No, it is. All time.
All right, final points. Let's get them up here. Think how accurate you guys are getting taking the shoes off. I can erase all the extra stuff.
See, we
yeah.
put the shoes on there. I don't have shit.
I have to make
Sorry,
it.
because I was taller than the measuring. I mean, you'll probably be taller than me. Like next year, it'll be like -5, 9 or something.
Oh,
Bro!
yeah.
First you're actually unconscious.
I made this.
Forget your data now.
So then your height was 154, so that's down here. So your height's down here. So 154 is about like here-ish. But then reach 115. So there's 80, 100, 120. So 115 is yeah, right about there with all your friends. Yeah. All right, grab a seat. Grab a seat. Oh, okay. If you have started looking, yeah, I'm trying to like give the chance for people to stop talking. It's just not working. I don't know if that's helping or hurting. If you started looking at your 130, not like an appointment, but the homework problem, what are you going to need to be able to complete this homework?
Graph paper!
Graph paper. So guys, hey Isaac. Thanks, I'm talking. So it's super obvious when you turn in a homework that needs graph paper and it doesn't have graph paper with it, that you didn't do what you were supposed to do and that you didn't read your directions. So, because it's still our first homework, here's your like extra reminder. If it says on graph paper, that means on graph paper. That doesn't mean try to squeeze a graph into your paper and just make it look all sloppy. It means use graph paper and like make an appropriate graph. Gentlemen, what can I do to help?
Oh, we're just trying to do a thing.
Double checking that our data was accurate.
Yeah, we actually forgot his.
Oh, we can't forget Noah.
No, we did him. He just forgot.
Oh, but well, he said his height's 1 Noah, so we can just.
No, he's doing.
I'm just joking that he said my height is 1 Noah. So you're good. Measure what you need. Go for it. And everyone else should so just be getting practice done. I'm just double checking this. What is your point that you're trying to make? It's like, what is your data? It's like 150 something. What's your reach?
That was really
Yeah, so actually, you're still kind of too close to 100. Did you say your reach was 113? So you would actually be here. We can move that point. You would actually be like up there. Okay, well, so it's not using random cards, but I'll let Liam start the conversation since he just volunteered some information. Liam, say what you said, but like turn the volume up.
All the dots are in like the same
At this
space.
point, I'm bringing class back together. You guys got to get better at like. I don't want to tell you to stop talking. I don't have an issue with it if within a few seconds you figure it out. But some of you are just keeping on going like I don't exist up here. That hurts my feelings. Liam, what'd you say?
All the dots are in like the same space.
All the dots seem to be in just one cluster. Nick, why might that be?
Well, it's as you can see, it grows up pretty like linearly.
Ooh.
Because since the size of your hands is correlated to your just size, or the size of your
So by linearly, you're meaning I should be able to like draw a line and kind of describe the behavior?
yeah, you should be able
Because what would we assume a person with a very short height, what would we assume about their reach? It would also be very short, probably. Right? So if our, now we don't have, now if you want to go home and bother like little brother, little sister and like try to measure them and you have a metric measuring tape, I doubt you do. But yeah, we could get some data for down here, right? We could go use our younger siblings and get some data and figure that out. So, interesting. So, alright, Soph brought up Robert Wadlow.
Oh, yes.
And I feel bad that I said I don't care about him.
Yeah.
So we're gonna either discuss Yao Ming or Robert Wadlow. So Yao Ming for a while was like one of the tallest people in the world. But actually Robert Wadlow was taller sooner. Right? So I want you guys to either, you can use Yao Ming's data, or if you want to look up Robert Wadlow and or convert his height to figure out how many centimeters he would be. Do you think this roller coaster would be safe for Yao Ming or Robert Wadlow, which is apparently even like a foot taller? So we'll answer both of those questions, right? For Robert Wadlow and Yao Ming.
Yao Ming would get his head chopped off.
No, it's Yao Ming.
Yao Ming would get his head chopped off. Are we allowed to get up and measure the table and subtract it from his height? I mean, not the table, the seat. No, it's
What?
you're insane. No. What? Well, oh.
Yes, we use this.
First we need to figure out its reach. How do we figure out your arms is about like half of you. No, it's
Both of your arms is how tall you are. From,
Yeah.
From the tip
Yeah.
of your, so just the height, his height, too. That's how long his arm is reaching. And then I like.
It's actually not true.
It is.
Okay, so
It's
bro,
fine.
you
So
screwed
it's
it.
reach.
Oh, you're right. That point. You look. Oh, please.
No, I'm not about it.
I don't know how to cut out like
But my arms are long. Okay.
Yao Ming.
Look at my arms. No, change some. Bro, what? I'd say I'm taller than I feel like you just subtracted
That's all you're trying to do, which is awesome. Right, that's sweet. Yeah.
around that.
So- All right, so Violet brought up the fact that some of us are not 100% certain about if our height conversions are working right. Or like if our right, we're trusting our friends who are measuring us. So to bring it up again, yes, you can, but you guys don't have if you come to Google, they've got a built-in converter. So first things first, this is worth memorizing. It's like important enough. There are 2.54 centimeters per inch. So your amount of centimeters is always going to be more than your amount of inches. Right, because centimeters are smaller. But for me to be able to use this converter, I need to know my amount of inches. So like for me, I'm 6'2", but this is why I hate American measurement. What the heck does 6'2" mean?
74 inches.
Yeah, like 6 feet and 2 inches, but no one ever says the inches. They just say like 5'10", 5'6", right? I hate American measurement. But, so, 6 feet, what's 6 times 12? 72 plus 2 more inches. So if I type in 74 inches, Google will convert for me. So if anybody got higher than 180, I highly doubt that you're taller than me. But if I'm going to put me on our graph there, can somebody help measure me real quick? I think so 187 can just come on up. Yeah, thank you, Sam. All right, so from the table, right, for our height thing, I got long arms, so my height's probably going to be pretty tall. Or yeah, the reach. Sorry.
I don't think Sam can reach up that far.
It's tilted. It's not going to be accurate.
It's like your arm is tilted. Your arm is tilted.
150 something.
It's quite tilted. Look, your arm is straight.
My reach is like as tall as your guys' heights.
Taller.
Oh no, it's taller than me. I'm short. Yeah.
So like 150, but still I'm safe, right? But now I feel suspicious because like Liam's holding my arm, Sam's got. All right, so like if I put myself up here, thank you, and then Yao Ming. So I was 187 and I'm off the graph. So if I'm 150 something, I'm like up here. Purple's one of my favorite colors. So 187? Okay, 150. It's like I'm like up here, but would I have my hands chopped off?
No.
Now, is Yao Ming here for us to measure him?
No. He's safe.
No.
He's safe.
But how can we make a prediction to see if he's safe or not? Val?
Looking at our data and seeing how much sitting down whittles down our height.
So does that mean we just like assume that it'll take off enough height that he's safe?
No, assume. We look at our data and then assume.
Well, I like you saying look at the data. I love that step. But I never like assuming because we're in math class and assumptions are dangerous. Isaac? I think you're onto the right thing. I'm not sure about every step you just said. And we'll play with it. That's why this is a 2-day lesson. We're not going to finish this today, right? You guys are out of here in like now almost. So tomorrow, what we will do is figure out how we can use this data to accurately make a prediction about Yao Ming and Robert Wadlow and see if they could ride the coaster. Yes.
I finished my homework, so can I leave my math binder in here?
Yes, but you cannot turn your homework in early.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you mean you finished 114, I'm suspicious that you were doing that the entire class time, but some people just work fast, so maybe. Or you just talk about 112.
Yeah, 112.
Okay. You still have 114.
But don't we do that in class?
No, the rest of it is homework. So guys, remember the rest of that worksheet is practice or act like, but it won't be due until Friday, right? Because that homework is today's homework and tomorrow's homework. 114 is due on Friday. Okay? Yeah, because you get 2 days from when it's technically assigned. It is assigned for today and for tomorrow. So if it's Wednesday's homework, you have until Friday.
Yep. Then
Yes.
on Tuesday.
Yes, because then we'll turn it in after you text me. Because it doesn't really matter if your answers are right or not. Make sure you take your name tag, make sure you clip everything else in, take pencils, whatever else.
I don't really get the purpose of the name tent, but
I'm sure it has good intent.
Oh.
Come on.
Dude,
Come
you like teed it up, and I didn't even see that you were just setting it up. Like I should have.
I'm not gonna be here.
Unacceptable. That's just not okay.
That was terrible.